coordinator with Albemarle County.
Okay, Tarn Singh, a private provider, secure child program.
Misty
Aaron
Graves. Ha! Jinx.
No, you go.
Okay. Misty Graves, Deputy Director of the Department of Human Services and the Community Attention Rep.
Aaron, have you said?
I was trying to talk with Misty, so Aaron is here. Aaron Callis, Charlottesville Albemarle Health Department. Good to see you all. I echo that.
Jenny, have you introduced yourself yet?
No, Jenny Jones, Chief of Family Services. I'm the program rep.
And Martha, have you gone yet?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's the phone. Katie, you've gone? No.
I have it. Katie Ralston, CSA coordinator for the city of Charlottesville.
And I'm Phyllis Savitas, Director of Albemarle County Social Services. And Jennifer. Then Lisa Jordan is here, and we're live on YouTube now. So we can officially call the meeting to order.
Good job, Phyllis.
But not me. I've got awesome folks in the community engagement the community awareness and public engagement office. All right.
Hi, I'm Serena. I'm just going to jump in and say hi. I'm the one who wasn't showing her face. I got you all hooked up and you're on YouTube and public input. I'll be in the background in case there's any issues with the meeting.
Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver. All right. Okay, well, so I'll call the meeting to order. It's great to see everyone. So the first, and Khaki had a conflict at the last minute, and so she might be able to pop in, but if she doesn't, then she sends her apologies. So first item is to review and approve the agenda as well as the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes and the February to July financial reports. So let's do Charlottesville first. We have a motion to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion from CPMT? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, how about Albemarle? Is there a motion to approve the agenda and the consent agenda?
This is Aaron,
Motion to-
motion to approve.
Second.
That was Suzanne. Any discussion from Albemarle? All right, all in favor, just raise your hand. Any opposed? Go. Okay. All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right, the next item is the CSA provider agreement revisions. And I know we have, do we also have some for city? Or is it both?
The city does not have any that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just Albemarle. And so there's two, one for Grafton and one for Newport News. They've both gone through the county attorney, and these are actually the same changes as they have been for years past.
Do you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the revisions by Grafton and Newport News. And you said, Jennifer, that they were saying no
Yes.
changes?
Right.
Okay. All right. All right, so this is just Albemarle. So are there any questions or comments about the provider agreement revisions? All right, so can I get a motion to approve the revisions from somebody on Albemarle FAPT? I mean, why do I say FAPT? CPMT.
I move that we approve the revisions.
I second it.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Any opposition? All right, they're approved. Okay, so I know Jennifer and Katie, you were starting to share a fact update. Anything else you want to share? Had you finished?
We're finished with
We're
those.
done.
Okay. Next item, review routine foster care expenses and fact approved expenses. Were there any questions about any of them? Or comments, reactions?
There were a lot.
APT has been busy. It seems like most of Albemarle's routine foster care expenses are medical related, and it's just got so many kids that aren't eligible for Medicaid.
Most of Charlottesville's were also medical related.
Any questions?
No.
CSA coordinator update. What brilliant news do you have to share with us?
Wow, it's been so long since we've met. I know one of the things from, I guess, February or whenever it was we met last, we had worked on our, our template.
Our work plan?
Yes. And so at some point, like, we just need to sort of revisit. I know there was something we were left to do, but honestly, I'm gonna have to go back and check. It had to do with maybe some of the community-based numbers or something, but just to say, like, it's been a while. And so we would just need to go back and sort of look at that and revisit it.
Yeah, I think we were trying to get it together to look at again in May for our annual retreat, where we look at that once a year, but obviously that never happened. So
I think one of the questions was how they came up with what criteria fell into each category, because there were some huge discrepancies between the city and the county. Am I thinking of the right form?
I think I remember that discussion, but I feel like it was something else, something more specific.
Okay.
Are you talking about what Khaki brought?
Yes, that could be it. Okay.
That was, wasn't that in attempt to fill out the document at the state?
The
Yes.
data.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
So just to say, we haven't forgotten about it. We just need to revisit it when we've had some, like Katie and I need to kind of go back and review it and then bring it back here to you guys.
Seems like that's the theme of the day. Go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. So do you have anything else, Katie? I can't think of
No,
anything.
I mean, I was just trying to read the minutes and see where exactly we left off. It was interesting that before COVID, that we were having a conversation about providing services online. And I think, at some point we'll have to revisit that conversation.
Well, I know we're consulting with our county attorney because as most providers are providing services virtually, their feedback is they shouldn't have to be expected to provide general liability insurance because they're no longer seeing people in an office, and which makes sense to me, but we're just trying to get confirmation from the county attorney's office that we can drop that. But while I had strong opinions before the pandemic about the providers that just were opting to do all of their services on virtually, I mean, my personal feeling is we can't expect that anymore, because my own husband, who is a service provider, is not going back to his office, you know, so it was just a whole new, it was a game changer, I think.
Yeah.
But we hope to be able to bring back next month the feedback about requiring the general liability insurance.
Yeah, and I
Any-
haven't heard of that come up as an issue in the city yet, but I can certainly check with the person who does our provider agreements and see if he's gotten any questions about that.
Tarn, do you have any thoughts on that?
You mean about doing virtual work?
That, or, you know, the request from providers that if they're not seeing clients physically, then why would they be expected to?
I'm doing a combination, so it's hard for me, you know, I've been doing this so long, it's hard for me to imagine this is, excuse me, this is the future, that it won't revert. I don't know of any of my clients that prefer doing virtual work. And I have some people that won't do it at all. And so we're being very careful. It's a different experience. And that seems to be every clinician that I've talked to, and I see a bunch in my practice saying the same thing. Nobody prefers this, so it's hard to imagine this will continue as it is. So in terms of liability, you know, I don't, it's not that big a deal to buy it. I'm not quite sure why it would become much of an issue. So I haven't obviously given this any thought because until you mentioned it, I wasn't aware that this was even being raised.
Well, if it was raised before the pandemic because we had one provider who, when I think the provider went on maternity leave, that, you know, that she was operating from her house, but then she decided to stay doing that. And at the time, you know, I think we all felt like, well, no, we want our kids and families seeing physical, but now it's like, at least for now, you know.
I like you, Phyllis, I have some strong feelings about making this the norm. So, yeah.
Well, we'll see what our the feedback that we get. Any other thoughts about that? So going back to what the review of the data goal, and Suzanne, you were right. CACI was going to find out more detail on where the data came from and look at the differences in the cost between the two localities. Okay, anything else from CSA coordinators?
No.
All right, how about OCS communications?
So I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at them. It goes back to May, some of them. And so again, the whole 2% rate increase on the private days continues into this fiscal year. And then I guess Katie and I think we have to report those again in September. So OCS is still tracking that. And again, that just has to do with the daily tuition rate, not the other services that they're providing. And then again, the administrative, that's Administrative Memo 03, which was about the administrative budget plan, which I'm guessing that's already been taken care of by our locality.
Ours today.
And then again, just the next Memo 04 was about the year-end reimbursements. And then there was, the most recent one was August 11th. That was memo 05. And again, this was just where they've now opened up the reporting system for us to input those rates that the private days are putting on their rate sheet so that we're reporting all that out. So that's all the OCS memos. I don't know if anybody has any questions about them.
Suzanne and Kendra, are you running into any challenges with the private day and staying within the required cap?
I think the biggest one was VIA. I know they had gone over, but then they separated out everything. So I don't know.
I haven't received any update since the pandemic. What was that? It was earlier in the fiscal year. Was it late December, January when Beth Baptist spoke to everyone? I think all the school divisions that they had.
Right. So yeah, I other than that, I haven't heard of anything.
Are the private day starting the school year in person, or are they? They are.
Most of them are. Yes.
I have just one school that has one. There are 3 of our students there, and they have one student. They're going to do a hybrid to move back to. They're just starting with the hybrid, just to give a little transition time. A little more transition.
Yeah. Most of ours are doing a hybrid. A few of them are doing all, the 4 days or whatever. So it's kind of up to the individual schools. We have had one school that's reported a case and had to close off parts of it, just a small part. But otherwise, most of them have already started or will start very soon.
All right. Any other comments regarding anything from OCS? Albemarle is now in the audit year, right?
Yeah, I thought they were going to switch us so that the city and county were going to do theirs together, but it looks like that's not the case. So our audit cycle begins. So this will be the period that's under review.
And then will be the following year. So you guys are FY22.
Yes.
For FY23.
Yep.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else on that, Jenny, do you have any update from program?
We haven't met actually, but we're planning to meet at the beginning of September for a regular meeting. I think it will be good timing given that we know what the school plans are now, and we can really talk about the needs, because I feel like maybe our focus might need to change once we hear from everybody about kind of what's going on at their agency and with the schools, and everybody's kind of, and I feel like a different place now than maybe where we were before. So kind of checking in and seeing if there's anything specific that we need to work on was my thought and plan.
Okay, great. All right, the next item under other business is the work plan review. We've already mentioned the kind of where we left off with the data goal. I think, if I remember correctly, the other items involved doing presentations, and not sure that's really applicable right these days. I'm trying to see if I have a up-to-date version of the plan. There was a more up to, is 5/19 the last date?
That's what I have.
Yeah. So I think the goal that Kaki was looking at was the CQI tool that the state put out. So We'll wait to hear back from her at some future day. So the first goal was increasing the engagement and capacity, and the first strategy was incorporate multicultural expectations. And I think we did revise the practice model. Then the other one was increase engagement with the judicial system. Our court users our court users meetings happening, Martha?
No, there were meetings, I want to say May, early June, around planning for reopening and what that process would look like. But I don't think there have been, I'm not aware of any meetings since then. And as they've started to build up dockets again, I think it's pretty challenging. Talked to one of the clerks today. So, you know, their backlog is my perception.
And then the other one was orienting CPMT members to local CSA system. And just a reminder that we had said we would attend a FACT meeting. You haven't done so already. And now you don't have to travel. So I don't think there's anything else to really talk about today about that. So next item is agency updates. Erin, the health department's hopping, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that's putting it mildly, Phyllis. Yes. Yes, and yes. So, you know, what you think you knew 7 minutes ago, you don't know now, or it's changed. I will say, I'll talk about something different than COVID for a minute. Flu. So you may all start to see, I've heard that flu is now in the flu vaccine, not flu itself. Flu vaccine is now, I think, available at Walgreens and CVS. It's interesting that the private sector gets it first before really public health gets it. But you'll probably see those campaigns start, and I would presume this year is the most aggressive year yet we'll ever have to put that out there. So I'm sure you will all hear a lot about it. And of course, when there's COVID vaccines, we'll hear about that as well. But yes, it is tremendously busy. It's incredible and draining at the same time. So, but thank you for people who have shout out, said thanks for everything. It is lovely. Appreciate you thinking about all of us in here. It's wonderful.
Martha, how are things going in the court service unit?
I think we're doing really well under the circumstances. We switched to seeing kids virtually for the most part for, I'd say, about the first 60 days. And then we started to do a little more in-person contact, you know, standing in people's yards, sitting on a porch, that kind of thing. So starting to see kids. We're now making those supervision decisions based on Harvard website that we're using to look at risk. So it's kind of weird for us because what the level of outbreak might be in Charlottesville and Albemarle doesn't match another part of the district necessarily. For a while, things were on that website were showing up as a little bit higher for Charlottesville and Albemarle and Culpeper, and now everybody has dropped back a level. So we'll be just adjusting supervision levels in accordance with that information to try to keep staff safe and keep families safe. You know, we've made physical changes to the buildings and how we manage intake and how we schedule intake. And I think for the most part, the public has been really receptive and appreciative. It's gone much better than I thought it would. For a while, we had several of the offices closed and we just ran rotations out of 4 of the larger offices. But in May, we reopened all the one-person offices, and the larger offices have continued to rotate. So folks are in the office kind of every other day. So it's been a, as Erin said, it's been a moving target, nothing like at her shop certainly, but it's been full of lots of change and challenges. But I think staff have done really, really well.
Diane and Jenny and Katie, are things okay at City Social Services?
Well, I'll speak and say they're as okay as they can be. I think staff really miss each other is part of it. Part of our jobs, we depend on each other. We depend on consulting with each other and also seeing each other. And that's a human need for a lot of people, but the work is getting done remotely, and I'm sure it's the same in Albemarle as far as the increase in the workload for the benefit workers when they were processing all these new applications for, hundreds, thousands of people that didn't need benefits ever before in their life. And so that, that was quite the workload. And as the state is going to start requiring us to do reviews and renewals, that's going to add to their workload also. And service workers are, going out into the field with PPEs and trying to stay safe. So, that's added angst to them and coming home to their families and stuff. But on the whole, the work is getting done and getting done well. And it's impressive the way people have, at least I feel this way. I feel very impressed at how people, just navigated this change so quickly and so well. And Jenny, you can add something different, or Katie, but those are my thoughts on it.
No, I don't think I have anything to add. I mean, I think it was we had a transition period, but I was pretty impressed too about how quickly we got up and running to switch a lot of the things that we were doing by paper and pen and forms, and just be able to get that done quickly and to be able to still meet the needs of the community. I think we did a really good job shifting and transitioning.
I'm hopeful that maybe some of these new processes we've created that are more efficient will be able to, have in place and continue. And so in that way, I think it's been kind of a good time to have that mind shift and think about how we could do things easier, more efficiently.
Misty, how's City Human Services Department? I know you guys are running all over the place.
That's true. I think the biggest change of COVID is that we've really had to expand our community resource hotline. We partnered in the very beginning to provide rental and utility assistance to folks that was funded with philanthropic dollars. And there's obviously still a financial need in the community. And so we've been able to get some CARES Act money and some city support so that we can continue to work with folks who are experiencing the need for rental assistance and utility assistance. So that's the infrastructure for the hotline has probably been the biggest increase, is to make sure we have enough people staffing the hotline to answer all the calls that are coming in. So that's been in process, the payments. There is, I'm just gonna put out there, one of the growing sort of, it's a network, it's called Candid, Charlottesville area network dedicated to youth development. It's a partnership of all the out of school time providers in the area. So folks who do after school programs, that do summer camps, that do sort of enrichment, social emotional programs. I've been meeting regularly through Zoom, and right now what we're working with is trying to pull together an inventory of what folks are doing as far as pro-social activities to support kids while they're in this virtual model, and trying to take an inventory of anyone, if anyone is doing in-person services and what's available to kids and families right now. So once we come up with that inventory, we'll make sure that we share that with you all, caseworkers and staff, so that, in fact, so that people know what's available out there to sign their kids up for once we get everybody's responses back.
So how about the schools? I know this is a really challenging time for school systems.
Yeah, the schools are, it's what we've decided to do in Albemarle County is we are bringing some kids back, but a very, very few. So they need to be our functional skills students or our A-based students. So we've been working through that with parents recently and figuring out, and the teachers who are involved are all voluntary. TAs that are coming in are all voluntary. So it's a process that we're trying to make it work for those kids who really cannot access online learning. But there are a lot of challenges with it, so we'll see what happens.
And with Charlottesville, we are predominantly online. We, instead of bringing groups of students back or what Suzanne was mentioning, we are doing just a case-by-case basis, and also bringing students in that may need a type of assessment, very small group one-on-one situations, but mostly looking at just very specific one-on-one situations just to make sure students' needs are being met. If that we have to bring them face-to-face.
We are starting also to do the assessments, just in a very small capacity. We've got so many of them to do from the last few months. So we're going to try to take care of those too.
Tard, any other updates from your world other than what you've already shared?
Well, you know, one of our primary services is in-home services. And so we're not doing any physical meetings are done outside with plenty of distance. And it's been an interesting transition for our clinicians to do their work virtually, because it tends to be very complex. So there's a lot of adjusting. Our good news is that we have very seasoned clinicians, so they're adaptable. It is a different, because providing work in the home adds dimensions of information and experience that can be facilitate successful outcomes. It's been an interesting challenge. Just an unexpected byproduct that we became aware of after a month or two. It just never dawned on us. We have people around the state, and there's no geographic limitations anymore. And so we'll have somebody who lives in Harrisonburg working a case in Roanoke, which has some advantages. Again, long-term, we provide in-home services because we believe that that kind of intimate contact supports best outcomes. But, you know, we're doing the best we can.
So from Albemarle Social Services, it's very similar to what Diane and Jenny and Katie shared. It's interesting on my benefit side, how much people really like working from home. And we're finding on the benefit side that they feel like they're much more productive. And it was a major miracle to get everybody home. The county IT really stepped up. And like Diane said, we've seen a marked increase in SNAP applications. And our service folks are going out in the field wearing masks and scrubs and gloves and trying to stay distant. But you know, the work is getting done, and it's been just amazing how we were able just to kind of turn it around and start operating in this new way. I think a biggest change that's going to come is I think this will impact space. you know, as the more people telework, I think it's going to call into question about whether we really need this big building. So anyway, but we've been hanging in there.
Yeah.
All right. Any other updates? Anything anyone would like to share? Or any other business? Well, I apologize for the slight hiccup in the beginning. I'm glad we were able to meet and just kind of get back together and get back in the routine of managing our local CSA system.
Good job. Good job, Phyllis.
Yeah.
And it's
All
so
right.
nice. It's so nice to see all of you, even if it's on a screen.
Yeah, it's nice to see you all.
All
All right. Have a great evening and we'll see you next month.
All right.
All right.
You well.
Good.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye now.